Hello, my name is Carlos Pelaez, and this is my project on cognitive and language development, stage of child and adolescent development by Jean Piaget. Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist known for his work on child development. Piaget's 1936 theory of cognitive development and epistemological view are together called generic epistemology. Piaget placed great importance on the education of children. He is most famously known for his theory on cognitive development that looked at how children develop intelligently through the course of childhood. He was the first to make a systematic study of the acquisition of understanding in children. He is also thought by many to have been the major figure in 20th century developmental psychology. Jean Piaget's theory of connectivity development suggested that children move through 4 different stages of mental development. His theory focused not only on the understanding of how children acquire knowledge, but also understanding the nature of intelligence. The 4 stages of Piaget's connectivity development are the sensory motor stage, which range from birth to 2 years and set its goal on objective permanence. The second stage is the pre-operational stage, which ranges from 2 to 7-year-old and set its goal to symbolic thoughts. The third stage is concrete operational, which range from 7 to 11 years old and set its goal on operational thoughts. The fourth stage is formal operational, which range from adolescent to adulthood and set its goal to abstract concepts. An image with a small description of all 4 stages is presented on this slide. Let's take a look at the first stage, the sensory motor stage. This stage ranges from birth to 2 years old. This stage is characterized by the absence of language. Because the children have no words for things, objects cease to exist when children are not dealing directly with them. Interactions with the environment are strictly sensory motor and dealing only with the here and now. During this stage, infants interact with and learn about their environment by relating their sensory experiences, such as hearing and seeing, to their motor actions, mouthing and grasping. The sensory motor stage is divided in 6 parts. The reflexive schemes, which ranges from birth to 1 month. During this stage, you could perceive the newborn's reflexes. The primary circular reactions, which ranges from 1 to 4 months. In this stage, you can see simple motor habits centered around own body. The secondary circular reactions, which ranges from 4 to 8 months, shows repeated interesting effects in soundings. The coordination of secondary circular reaction from 8 to 12 months shows intentional, goal-directed behavior, object permanence. The tertiary circular reaction from 12 to 18 months explore property of objects through noble actions. Lastly, mental representations from 18 months to 2 years shows internal depiction of objects or events. Defer imitation. Up next is a video demonstration of the sensorimotor stage.
New babies aren't quite sure what happens to objects when they leave their sight. Sky's mom keeps disappearing and reappearing. No wonder peekaboo is so much fun. During their first year, however, infants will learn an important concept: object permanence. Everything has a life of its own, even if it is out of sight.
At Maya's age, babies know to look for the object, but they might not have everything else straight. 10-month-old Simon is about to make a classic mistake, known as the A not B error. Although he watched us place the toy plane under the white cloth, he'll look for it where he last found it, not where he watched us hide it. If a 1-year-old can't find an object they want right away, they're likely to give up looking.
Next is the pre-operational stage. The pre-operational stage is the second stage in Piaget's theory of cognitivity development. This stage begins around age 2 and lasts until approximately age 7. During this period, children are thinking at a symbolic level but are not yet using cognitive operations. During the end of this stage, children can mentally represent events and objects, the semiotic function, and engage in symbolic play, pretend play. Up next, there's a video representation of the pre-operational stage.
According to Jean Piaget, children enter the pre-operational stage of cognitive development during the preschool years. Their thinking changes dramatically in that they now have the capacity to think symbolically, using words or objects to represent something else.
Sarah and Jill dress up and have a tea party. Later, they feed their doll. 4-year-old Jared pretends he is a spy kid and chooses an appropriate costume.
What are you going to be?
A spy kid. Mommy, can we go out for
I think you should have dinner with them.
Todd and Jared show further increases in mental representation. They are engaged in what Piaget called symbolic play, clearly imagining that the blocks they are playing with are something else. In this case, a building.
It's a big building? Yeah, we're going to go in it. I don't want to put one on.
Also, during this stage, kids have difficulties understanding logic, other points of view, and constancy.
Look at these two glasses. Do you think that they have the same amount of juice? You think they have the same? Okay. Now we're going to pour this juice into this glass. Now, do you think that this glass has more juice, this glass has more juice, or do you think that they have the same amount?
That one has more.
This one has more, and why do you think that this one has more?
Because it's taller.
Okay, you ready? Yeah. Okay. Does this row have more quarters? Does this row have more quarters, or do they have the same?
4, 5. They're both the same.
They're the same?
5, 5.
Okay. Okay. Does this row have more quarters? Does this row have more, or do they have the same?
This one has more.
That one has more quarters?
Yeah.
Why does this row have more quarters?
Because it's more far away.
It's more far away?
Yeah. like more forward and like that.
Next is the concrete operational stage, which is the third stage in Piaget's theory of connectivity development. During this stage, which ranges from 7 to 11 years old, kids become more logical about concrete and specific things, but they still struggle with abstract ideas. During this stage, kids develop definite rules for ordering the world. These rules are called operations, but can only be applied to objects in the real concrete world. Piaget's claim, mental agility is needed to carry out logical operations that do not have real-world aid. Conservation is an example of observation. Conservation is the realization that objects can remain the same despite a change in appearance. The pre-operational child lacks conservation. An example is when Piaget demonstrated the development of conservation in this age group using 2 rows of beads. When the green row was spread out, the concrete operational child realized that the numbers stayed the same even though the appearance changed. Also, during this stage, children design complex role-playing games showing active imagination and an understanding of the adult world.
In this film, we are going to present children with a variety of tasks that require them to make judgments on the basis of either reason or perception. When children make their judgments on the basis of transitivity or reversibility, they give evidence that their sense of logic takes precedence over their perceptual impressions. They demonstrate, therefore, that they are using concrete operations. Transitivity involves holding 2 relationships in mind at the same time. We can illustrate the development of transitivity by presenting children with Piaget's seriation task. 4-year-old pre-operational Jeffrey has difficulty with this task. He is unable to order 3 sticks according to their length, even with a model to copy. He simply does not understand the relationships that are involved. Some critics argue that young children's failure to solve such problems is a matter of misunderstanding the language involved. They say that young children simply do not understand the terms next largest, smallest, etc. Piaget's answer is that young children do not understand the quantity terms in the adult sense because they do not as yet have the underlying concepts of transitivity and reversibility that enable us to comprehend and utilize mathematical terminology. When a child attains a unit concept in a particular domain, that's no guarantee that he or she will automatically have attained the unit concept in other content areas. Indeed, Piaget argues that each content area has to be constructed in its own time and in its own way. We can observe this as children attempt to conceptualize mass, weight, and volume with clay.
So when they're in the 2 balls, they have the same amount. But if I roll this one back into a hot dog, then tell me one more time, which one? Does one have more or less, or are they the same amount of clay now?
Same.
They're the same now? Okay, last time we did this, you said that this one had more. You're changing your mind? Do they take up the same amount of space, or does one of them take up more, or one take up less?
This one takes up more.
This one takes up more? Okay, and why do you think that?
Because it's stretched out and it doesn't have as much room as a ball.
Oh, okay.
It has more room.
So it seems to take up more space.
She eventually succeeds in conserving mass, but gives in to her perceptual intuition that the sausage takes up more space than the ball.
McGarrigle and Donaldson, 1974, questioned whether Piaget's methods were suitable for young children. They used a glove puppet to accidentally transform the beats under these conditions and found that 63% of children aged 4 to 6 could successfully converse because they recognized that the number of beats remained the same. The 4th and final stage is the formal operational stage. This stage ranges from 12 years old to adulthood. During this stage, adolescents and adults develop the ability to think about and solve abstract problems in a logical way. The child in a concrete operational stage deals with the present, the here and how. The child who can use formal operational thoughts can think about the future, the abstract, the hypothetical. Children in this stage approaches tasks systematically, testing one variable, such as varying the length of a string at a time to see its effects. But younger children typically try out this variation randomly or change two things at the same time. Piaget concluded that the systematic approach indicated that children were thinking logically in the abstract and could see the relationship between things.
Okay, Enzo, how old are you?
17.
All right. If you had a third eye, where would you put it?
Probably in the back of my head,
Why?
so I can see behind me and in front of me at all times.
Okay. If Kelly is taller than Allie and Allie is taller than Joe, who's the tallest?
Kelly.
Yeah, okay, good. What would happen if people stopped having children?
Oh my God. Then the human evolution will come to an end.
Okay, what are some things that would happen before that?
People are gonna be unhappy. I don't know. I don't know. I guess people are gonna be like having sex with condoms on. I don't know.
Piaget had a great influence in early childhood education. He fundamentally altered the view on how kids learn. In this process, children develop their own learning. From their errors, teachers will have a better understanding on how the kids view the world and develop better strategies to help them.